This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
You know, we were having a fascinating conversation with Todd Chapman during the break about ethics in journalism and how if you want to be an excellent reporter, you should go to law school.
Going to law school was, I didn't make very much money as an attorney, but I think it served me well just to learn how to think like a lawyer. This is Bruce Wolf, by the way.
Well, I was going to say that voice belongs to Bruce Wolf. Bruce Wolf, who's filling in for Dan Proft.
And no, it's good because in law school, at least when I went there, they had you go through the Socratic method, where the professor would like undress you by asking you questions, and it was just like in the paper chase, and that's a great hazing to go through, and journalists should have to go through that.
What would they ask you?
It's just that if whatever you were dealing with, whatever you were studying, a case, you just weren't able to spit back facts. You had to be able to argue, and you had to be able to ask the right questions or answer the questions. And in the law, every word matters. I mean, that's why when you get somebody like Al Franken, and you have him giving you his double talk yesterday, where he says, on the one hand, he says a lot of the stories weren't true, and then he adds to that and says, and then a
different interpretation.
I have a different interpretation. Basically, he is saying all the stories are untrue.
Yeah, and some of it was consensual. That's what it sounded like to me.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you don't have to be a lawyer in order to, any reasonable person could see what he was doing there, and it just teaches you how to think. I mean, that's what's important.
Okay. Well, we're glad you're here. And joining us now, someone who's here because size does matter, if you know what I mean. Bob Fioretti. Now listen to this. Bob Fioretti, I don't know if you saw this on local news, but of course I still watch local news. I'm probably one of the only people who do. But he brought in a huge stack of petition when he filed to run for Cook County Board President. He brought in 38,405 signatures, 5,000 more the combined slate of the 5 Democratic candidates. So it was pretty impressive. And joining us now on our Turnkey.pro answer line is the said Bob Fioretti. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
It is a good morning. Thanks for having me on for both of you, and especially that intro on the discussion about ethics and what we need to restore, especially in state and local governments here.
Yeah, so you brought in 38,405 signatures. It was pretty impressive. You're trying clearly to make a statement.
But a lot of it came, it was a groundswell from people all across the county. We were walking down the street. People said, did you have petitions? Can I sign petitions? I was amazed at the outflow and the outpouring of people, no matter where we were, what suburbs we were at throughout this county, the people that want to get involved, that want to change county government.
Were you relieved, or your reaction when you heard that Todd Stroger was no longer going to be running for Cook County Board President? And do you know why
I really
he
didn't
pulled
think
out?
He was in the running at the time. So, if he would have been in the race, it still would have been an issue. We're going to concentrate on the issues. If he was not going to be in the race, we're still concentrating on the issues of making Cook County government live within its means, go back to its core mission of quality health care and public safety.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here. And of course I don't live in Cook County, so it's easy for me to do this.
Well, you used to live in Cook County at some point in your life.
I can't afford to live with the soda tax and everything. What?
Safety is the key, but you work here, and we need to invite more people to work here and businesses to come here instead of taxing people and businesses out of the county.
I wanted to get to a question here, and that is, no soda tax, which I found hysterical because it was supposed to benefit. I mean, to lose weight.
So
the poor people are supposed to lose weight, but they were going to be exempt from it, I guess.
If you had a link card, you didn't have to pay the soda tax.
Sure. So it really didn't benefit. It was a way of raising revenue. I get it. But in lieu of a soda tax, you got to pay for these services somehow, don't you?
Oh, this budget has doubled from a little bit over $2 billion in 8 years to $5.6 billion.
Oof.
Come on. We've got to look for ways to implement strategic partnerships and cut the budget, live within our means, and quit raising taxes on people here. If we keep doing that, we're going to keep going down the drain, and this county and this state will no longer survive. We have the biggest exodus of people leaving here. I mean, Chicago and Cook County is a great place it should be a great place to live, work, and enjoy the benefits of what we have. Greatest transportation system, great cultural, sports, but people just don't want to live here.
So,
and they're being taxed out.
So, Toni Preckwinkle, are you going to have a debate with her and the other 4 or 5 candidates?
Well, actually, because the slate that I'm willing to debate anytime and any place, and I think we need a series of them throughout the county. I think that's what's been lacking with this administration. They failed to take what the people are saying about the budget, and I think we needed to have it within the smaller suburbs throughout the area, and I'm willing to look at a number of debates at this point.
I'm looking at a Tribune story which reads in pertinent part that Toni Preckwinkle had nearly $361,000 in her campaign fund at the end of September, has received nearly $74,000 since then, but by contrast, you have yet to report any major contributions, and funds for previous failed bids for mayor and state senator show a total debt of more than $176,000. Your response to that?
The former debts are really debts to myself that we've paid off at this point, and we have raised so far in the last few weeks about $80,000 at this time.
Well, that's good.
We're building a campaign structure. I understand that. We are opening up an office at 58 West Huron, a 4-story building. We just put the phones in, 28 phones. We're getting internet. Things are starting to come together to get 38,405 signatures with volunteers. I think speaks volumes. The Democratic Party, with their 5 candidates on their petition, could only muster 33,000, and a lot of them look bad. But she said she's going to challenge my signatures, so be it.
Toni Preckwinkle is?
Pardon me?
Toni Preckwinkle is going to challenge your signatures?
Yes. She said that probably about 10 days ago that she would. Will challenge, and you got to be worried about the vice chair, or she's got to be worried, and the Democratic Party has to be worried that they want to challenge signatures to knock people off the ballot. That's voter suppression in a different form. Access to the ballot is critical for any candidate, and it's good for good debates on the issue. But if they want to challenge, so be it.
Now,
and that's to dry up more resources, and we all know that.
I'm reading in pertinent part from your Wikipedia entry. Served as Second Ward Democratic committeeman, all these Democratic credentials that you've had. But you sound like a Republican. Why don't you switch parties?
No, you know what? I'm true to a lot of the Democratic ideals. I grew up a Democrat. I grew up in Chicago, and that's what you are.
A lot of us are Republicans.
I think my sister went to school with you at Illinois. I'm not sure.
Who's your sister?
I was a 75 grad from U of I, and I was student body president down at U of I at the time.
Okay.
Do-gooder.
Yeah. Yeah, she was a 75 graduate too. Yeah, I think she went to school.
Okay.
Hey, it's a big
place. But anyway, she remembered you. But seriously, what you said in your comments earlier
like a Republican.
was, people are leaving the state. I mean, it sounded like I was talking to Dan Proft, for crying out loud. So why are you a Democrat? You're the one who was responsible for everything, aren't you, Mr. Fioretti? Go ahead.
We are in a stage where people are leaving this state, this county, and this city in droves because we are taxing them out. At some point, the system, no matter what we think and say, is going to collapse. We're going to have to create. As alderman, I brought 8,000 jobs to my ward. I created 8,000 jobs. I closed a food desert in my ward. I worked under 2 different administrations, Daley and Rahm, to achieve results. And I had results, but I did it in not conventional ways of the handout from the government. I worked with a lot of the companies to help our schools. I had more schools than any other ward. I had more senior citizen homes than any other ward, more parks than any other ward. And I built 5 parks in my ward, and I'm proud of the accomplishments that we did. But we have to do it by working and talking to the people instead of dictating to them, which the Democrats in this city and state do.
All right. Thank you. Where can we go for more information about your campaign and if people want to help out or contribute?
And it's growing every day. It's on the website, Bob for Cook County, and I'm looking forward to everybody and engaging everybody in the debates.
All right. Thank you, Bob Fioretti, former Chicago 2nd Ward Alderman and candidate for Cook County Board President. He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news.